Well, the time is just gone 9 a.m. and this hour of news and views is brought to you by Africa Muslims Agency. We still have got a lot to come through on the show this morning. Now, normally we do have Juma inspirations at this time of the morning, and we are obviously inspired. We are inspired by those that serve humanity, and Alhamdulillah, in South Africa, we are truly, truly blessed when it comes to relief work, when it comes to welfare work, when it comes to the effort, and Alhamdulillah many dedicated organizations, many dedicated individuals. And this morning we are talking with Mufti Naeem Desai and Moulana Aslam Eshak, and we are talking about an organization that is called Mubz Relief, which is the welfare wing of Madrasah Urwa bin Zubayr, and this is the reason why we are talking to them. But before we get to our guests this morning, having just returned from relief work and relief mission in Burundi and other countries, we'd like to play out a quick video clip before we get to our respected ulama, Mufti Naeem Desai and Moulana Aslam Eshak.
Alhamdulillah, Mubz Relief was on the ground in Burundi, a town named Kirundo, north of Burundi, which is close to the Rwanda border. This town is surrounded by mountains and lakes. The area or the people of this area are faced with much poverty, barely food or any clothing. People of this area are very appreciative for the little that they receive. The joy, the smile witnessed on their faces when receiving a simple piece of clothing to cover themselves was priceless. Immediately, either putting it on, some would dance out of joy, that which allows us to appreciate the enormous favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us. Mubz Relief distributed about 400 or over 400 hampers in the surrounding areas. We had to use a bigger car to access these areas as the roads aren't very good. Hampers consisted of beans to eat and to plant as well, as this was the planting season, maize and rice. These are the simple items mostly used by these people who live a very simple life. Clothing bales were purchased and distributed on the way to the hamper distribution points. Widows and imams were also assisted with cash donations. Goats were given to some as a livestock empowerment. Allah accept.
Well, certainly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant acceptance. Mufti Naeem Desai and Moulana Aslam Eshak, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to both of you. Welcome and Jazakallah khairan so much for your time.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair.
Yes, Mufti Naeem, just to begin with, and let's talk about Mubz Relief. Obviously, if you can tell us, when it was established and what inspired its formation under Madrasah Urwa bin Zubayr.
Inshallah, our Islam Eshak is with us. He's the head of the department. So inshallah, we'll hand over to Moulana, inshallah, and Moulana will give us a better overview, inshallah.
No problem.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Uncle Inayat, and assalamu alaikum to all of the listeners and viewers of Salam Media. Jazakallah for this opportunity on this blessed Mubarak Friday morning, for the opportunity to showcase Mubz Relief. Basically, if we can just look into what inspired Mubz Relief, as a precursor, Mubz Relief is the humanitarian wing of the Madrasah Urwa bin Zubayr, which is based in Middelburg. So all of us are aware that in the year 2021, in July of 2021 precisely, South Africa had experienced something somewhat unprecedented in the form of the July riots, which had affected the KZN province. And from the Madrasah side, at that point, we felt obliged to come in and assist, because we know that the logistic network was somewhat handicapped. People were unable to purchase basic items. So from our side, from Middelburg, we then arranged for grocery hampers to be distributed. We drove down to KZN and we distributed grocery hampers. And the second thing which happened during those riots was that many people who had businesses suffered many losses, to the extent that businesses were burnt and businesses were completely destroyed. So at that point, we also launched a second initiative, which was the Business Empowerment Initiative, where capital was then provided as a startup for those to recommence their lives and to start again. So this was the catalyst at that point in 2021 from Madrasah Urwa bin Zubayr side, and this gave then rise to our humanitarian organization, which is Mubz Relief. So from 2021, Alhamdulillah, the organization has seen much growth, expanding its activities both locally as well as across foreign borders.
Gee, Maulana, in fact, Jazakallah khairan for providing that overview. And particularly, when one talks about starting and really, at the end of the day, it's just amazing to hear what you are saying. It started off at the back of deep concerns in South Africa was what had taken place in KZN. But Alhamdulillah, how this has actually grown. And this, I think, was humble beginnings. Alhamdulillah, I'm sure a lot has been achieved, Maulana. Now, I'm not too sure whether you or Mufti Naeem would like to, take the next question with regard to some of the key welfare projects of Mubz Relief, which you are currently involved with.
Uncle Inayat, I'll continue on my thread, inshallah, and then we can hand over to Mufti Naeem after this. So just some of the projects which we currently are engaged in. So as we mentioned previously, we are engaged on the local front in South Africa. So here we oversee the distribution of hampers, humanitarian aid, welfare assistance, ulama empowerment, as well as one project of ours which is quite unique is that we know that South Africa was quite badly affected by load shedding. So from our side at Mubz Relief, we said that what's a nice way of assisting people, helping the old, the aged, the infirm. We said that let's install inverter systems in their homes. So together with the welfare and the empowerment and the hamper distributions and the inverter system installations, we also do boreholes. We assist with orphan care and hospital care as well, where we go into hospitals, we distribute items in hospitals, and a range of other relief activities and emergency aid as the need arises. On the international front, Uncle Inayat, Alhamdulillah, we've undertaken quite many missions actually. The most recent one was to Burundi, which Mufti Naeem will enumerate upon, but we've also engaged in work in Malawi, we've done work in Libya, we've done work in Syria, we've done work in Gaza, and we've done work in Zanzibar as well. So Alhamdulillah, Mubz Relief is building its core work, focusing on a two-pronged approach, both helping locally and thinking internationally as well.
Well, Alhamdulillah, in fact, obviously with Mubz Relief and Maulana, the footprint, obviously one sees a growing footprint, for starting off locally, but, you've mentioned all these countries and you've also mentioned Gaza, you've mentioned, many of the other countries. And let's bring Mufti Sab into the discussion now. And Mufti Naeem Desai, Burundi, and I don't think a lot of us actually even speak about Burundi, but you've just returned from this trip to Burundi, some of the other surrounding countries as well. And perhaps, just to provide us with an overview first, but also in terms of some of your experiences, which personally may have impacted on you and also on Mubz Relief as an organization.
Alhamdulillah. I think just basically, we just say that first how this trip was initiated. Alhamdulillah, our team was in Zanzibar, and they met with Moulana Khalil Ahmed. Khalil Ahmed was also doing some work there as well, and together, Alhamdulillah, they did work together. From there, Alhamdulillah, Moulana invited Madrasah to come in and visit Burundi and do some relief work there as well. If Alhamdulillah, in Zanzibar, I don't know if anyone gets a chance, but if we go and see the Madrasah did post something incident that had happened or regarding a masjid there as well, inshallah, it will be good for those who are viewing to actually go and see that. Amazing. On Instagram, it's there, and on the social media platforms, how the masjid was built, etc. But it's on another talk. Anyway, when you come to Burundi, Alhamdulillah, we've been there, landed actually in Rwanda, but we couldn't cross the border because of the conflict that is taking place. We had to go through Tanzania. And on the way, Alhamdulillah, we were presented a land that, inshallah, Madrasah and a center that will be set up there as well. And then only we eventually reached Burundi. Burundi, a country which is the poorest countries, amongst the poorest countries in the world. People very simple. So Maulana Khalil Ahmed Limbada was with us. He was our host, and explaining us of the country and how simple, poor the people live. There's shortage of fuel, food, clothing. There's very minimal things to survive on. People live very simply. If you basically the roads in our understanding, we see a road is where cars drive. Their roads are filled with people walking and bicycles. That's the people that occupy the roads, because there isn't, first of all, no petrol or fuel to be found. Secondly, they don't have the funds or any means to buy a car. So if actually when you're driving in Burundi, if a car is driving past, everyone stops to actually look at it, because they don't see much cars, especially in areas that we worked in. So these areas are very simple. People are simple in those areas. Many children, because of unemployment, men are at home. They have no jobs. There's many children. Children aren't going to school as well because of no funds. So alhamdulillah, Madrasah was able to assist in many different forms and different fields of assistance. One is that for the school going children as well, they go to school, but they don't have stationery, they don't have their pens, etc. So then they are sent home. So that was also facilitated medically. There's a lot of obviously being in a simple area, whether it's hot, etc. People get sick. So there as well, alhamdulillah, we were able to assist people medically. There were special cases as well, where cancer. There was a lady with cancer as well. Alhamdulillah, that was facilitated. So we see these so many things that need to be done, and so much that we have and so little they have. But alhamdulillah, what we notice is the contentment of the people. They so content, and they happy and carrying on with life. You see that one person with his bicycle, loading it like as if a person is loading a van or a bakkie, with bunches of bananas or whatever, bags of potatoes, bags of mangoes or avocados. The bicycle is basically their means of transport, their truck or their bakkie or whatever it is. And with that bicycle, they basically pushing up. It's very mountainous. It's a mountainous country, and the country has many lakes. So basically, to go from one place to the other, it's a very mountainous area. So they have that entire load on the bicycle, pushing it uphill. So they can't ride it. They're pushing it up the hill, going back down. So we asked Maulana Khalil that, this person, one person, so many bananas or so much bananas on his bicycle, and he's going, what does he get? So he said, basically, he goes from one place to the other, he sells it there, and he might be getting about $10. That's about it that he gets. And that's sufficient for his day, or for his family for the day. And the next day is the same issue, he does the same thing. So people are living in such circumstances. I mean, we spoke with one of the relief organizations the other day, and they also mentioned this, that when they've been there as well, we've seen it. So children growing up, they have one item of clothing on them, a small child, and it's completely dirty, because that's the only one they have. So they might only maybe once a week get a chance to wash it or whatever it is. And they actually grow up in that one item that they have. They grow up in that. As they get bigger, they have that same top or skipper or whatever it is that they grow up in. And alhamdulillah, we had the opportunity of buying these bales of clothing and going in the area or in those areas on the way to the distribution points and giving out these clothing. So we would stop at the house and we'd find children, find adults, giving them whatever we had, and they would all rush to the car just to collect one item. And when they got that item, they would like jump out of joy. They would wait immediately. They would be so excited that now they have got something that they can use now. So this was the condition in those areas. There are teachers there, alhamdulillah. We went to the Madrasah as well. I think the one very important thing is that we learn to make shukr. And secondly, the people of the area are so soft. Like at some places we went, more people came than expected, and the amount of hampers were there, we gave, and now the others maybe didn't receive. So we felt very bad, but they were like, it's okay. Next time, inshallah, we'll wait for the next round. Content and very soft people, very nice people, very welcoming people. Simple as well. So this was basically Burundi, in the area that we worked in, Kirundu, and it's based at this Madrasah, Markaz Ahlus Sunnah, Moulana Khalil Ahmed's Madrasah, as we can see playing now. He has a Darul Quran and a very nice setup he has, alhamdulillah, where students are learning, they learn, and then after learning, they go out abroad to study. And alhamdulillah, most have returned back in the center now are teaching, or in the surrounding areas, so whether it's Rwanda and the areas around there, where they then assist or be imams, and they have different causes as well, alhamdulillah, they offer.
Yes, Mufti Sahib, in fact, I'm just looking at the visuals as well as you have been talking as well. And alhamdulillah, it seems that, a lot of work is actually being done. But once again, Mufti Sahib, I think, one of the big issues is sometimes, countries like Burundi, for example, do not form part of our conversation. It seems to be off the radar for some reason or the other. And it is only, when people like yourselves, when organizations like Mubz Relief actually go out and come back and provide us with the feedback and share your experiences, that we start to become aware of the challenges that are faced by countries like Burundi. And I think this is important for us. And I'm sure, you can articulate some of the key issues, some of the key points, learning points for yourself, firstly, for the organizations, but also in terms of the greater Muslim Ummah, in terms of what we can actually take from a trip like this that you've undertaken in Burundi.
Gee, and can I add? So I think maybe one of the factors that we're not aware of, for example, at the moment in Gaza, we are always informed about what's happening because of social media. And I mean, they have access, and it's been posted, and we see things happening, etc. So maybe the understanding I would have is that because of social media and the news that comes to us, we see it quite often and we know the condition. But in a place like Burundi, first of all, you don't have proper network there. So if you have your South African SIM card and using roaming, maybe now and then you might just get network. Their own networks there, it's very weak. The electricity cuts off every now and then. Water comes and it goes. So the challenges they have are such that we won't generally hear about their condition because of their situation. And I think by us going, others organizations going as well, speaking more about it, going to see it, witness it ourselves, I think that will be a means of then people being informed about it and knowing what's happening in the world. Besides that, we have the missionaries that are working in these areas as well, which is very sad, and which might be snatching the iman of our Muslim brothers and sisters because of the effort they're making and they are doing to give people food and assist them, and then building churches and encouraging them now to become Christian. So that's a lack on our side, where we have to see that how we have to now counteract. We have to rather actually be ahead of that. Before that happens, we should be there to assist. And alhamdulillah, through these efforts, we found it from this madrasa as well in other areas. People are, they see and they know Muslims and they understand that Islam is a good religion. So people start coming and entering Islam. Alhamdulillah, through the center that we attended, the assistance from the center is not only for the Muslims. They have non-Muslim neighbors as well around the center, where alhamdulillah assistance is given to them as well. I'm from Lillah, etc. But they are assisted in many different ways, whether it's medically, whether it's for their children going to school. They're assisted with crops. They borrowed land so that they could plant and become self-sufficient. So these empowerments as well. So alhamdulillah, through that, people are entering Islam. When we go to these centers, alhamdulillah, many Muslims live in these areas. We find that just if you look at Kirundu, it's a small town in Burundi, and the province consists of about 7 districts. It shares borders with Rwanda and to the north and west. And Burundi has an estimated population of 14 million people, out of which approximately 4 million are Muslims. Now, within this Kirundu province, the population is about 3 million, and alhamdulillah, around 600,000 of them are Muslims. So Kirundu is made up of around 80 villages. Approximately there are about 75 masajid, which serve as important centers. Alhamdulillah, so there are imams and there are those in charge in those centers, which then assist in the programs that take place there, whether it's for Eid or in Ramadan, whether there's distributions that take place, etc. So Alhamdulillah, there are key brothers in those areas who facilitate and assist in all the work that takes place there. So like we said, Alhamdulillah, we learn first of all to make a lot of shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just having water, this mana that's there, it's based there, Alhamdulillah, it's been there for many years. So when he moved there was no water, there was no electricity, and Alhamdulillah, he made a lot of sacrifice initially, and now still a lot of sacrifice himself, his wife, just to establish something and to start in that area. And Alhamdulillah, now it has grown much, Alhamdulillah. But obviously, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, and we should see that how we can also be part of that in whichever way, anywhere in the world, but especially here in Burundi, where the people are going through these difficulties.
Well, Jazakallah for that, Mufti Saab. Maulana, just to end off this broadcast, just in terms of appealing, looking at people who need to assist, and also in terms of the organization as well, in terms of Mubz Relief as well. I suppose this is going to be a constant appeal to people to come forward, to contribute, to assist wherever they can, and in what ways can they assist.
Inshallah, I'll give that over to Ma Aslam, the head of the department, inshallah, and Moulana will give us a better.
Jazakallah for that, Uncle Inayat. The most important thing that we can do is to constantly keep ourselves abreast of the condition of the people of the world around us. Not to live in our comfort zones, but to expose ourselves to the conditions of others. This softens the heart and then opens ourselves up to opportunities to contribute. Whether that contribution is a financial contribution or whether it's a message of support that can we know more about what's happening, and just to ask for the efforts which all the humanitarian organizations are undertaking and which they are doing. From our side at Mubz Relief, to keep up with our content on our social media platforms, we on Instagram, etc., and also then those who feel open to contributing to these projects. Alhamdulillah, we welcome these, and we also then encourage people to join us on our missions. This is very important. One is the financial contribution, but further and above that, if people can join us on these missions, that's actually the eye opener. Alhamdulillah, Mufti Naeem spoke about going to Burundi. A week before that, I was in Malawi, and I had taken a few friends with us, and the remark was that, Moulana, we gave, but now we saw, and now we understand. So that's a basic message that we can project, inshallah.
Well, Jazakallah khairan so much for that to Moulana Aslam Eshak and also to Mufti Naeem Desai. And I've just got messages come through saying that our director, our CEO Shamshir Khan, Hafiz Shamshir Khan, and our COO Ponti Molasani visited the Mubz Relief Center in Middelburg yesterday. And the feedback that we are getting is they were truly impressed by your operations, particularly the foundation phase education setup and skills empowerment program. It is clear that Mubz Relief takes great pride in uplifting and empowering communities, and that came through from our COO Ponti Molasane. So Maulana Aslam, and to you as well, Mufti Naeem, Jazakallah khairan so much for taking time out with us this morning right here on Salam Media. Allah Ta'ala grant acceptance. Allah Ta'ala make it easy as well. And more importantly, in your service to humanity in more ways than one, whether it's just raising awareness from an educational perspective, providing direct relief in every way. Allah Ta'ala grant acceptance as well, inshallah. And may the organization grow from strength to strength, inshallah. And also an appeal that goes out to people who are listening, who are viewing as well. Please have a look at Mubz Relief on the various social media platforms as well, and the wonderful work that they are doing, because at the end of the day, we are here to also not only to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is obviously our priority, but more importantly also it is also about the rights of human beings, hukukullah, hukukul ibad as well. So these people obviously need wherever we can, whatever we can do to assist them as well. This is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we need to do our best, inshallah. So once again, have yourselves a wonderful Jummah. Mufti Naeem Desai, and also to you, Moulana Aslam Eshak. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, that brings us to just 9:26, and with that, we're going to go for a break. Still to come, the Al Tawheed Jalsa 2025, a day of learning, unity, and service, with the founder of Al Tawheed Foundation, Sheikh Abdul Salam Basyuni, and Qari Bashir Patel.